Hi, this is Autohaus Hamilton TV, and I'm James. But then I would say that, wouldn't I? In today's video, I'll be talking about magnesium, right after this. Magnesium has an atomic number of 12. This is one less than aluminium, which means that magnesium is slightly lighter than aluminium. But because science stuff, magnesium is rather different to aluminium. Magnesium is the 9th most abundant element in the universe and is produced in large aging stars and expelled into interstellar space in supernova explosions, or according to rival sources, very early on day 3, most of which is largely irrelevant in the world of Porsche. The relevant part is the lightness and possibly the prevalence of magnesium on our home planet. You can find magnesium right here. This stuff is literally everywhere. It's the 3rd most common element dissolved in the waters of our oceans. Like I said, it's everywhere. I can think of a number of places where magnesium was or is used in Porsche's history. Doubtless I will leave out something major, so let me know in the comments. The space frame chassis of at least some versions of the 917 racer was made of magnesium, which would be an interesting metal to weld. One of the drawbacks of magnesium is that it is brittle, although alloys of magnesium with other metals are much more flexible. The solution to the problem of cracks developing in the 917 racer was to add a valve and a pressure gauge. Air was pumped into the frame and the driver monitored the pressure gauge. If the frame cracked, the air would escape and the pressure gauge would tell the driver that it was time to make his way gently back to the pits. Porsche continues to use magnesium alloys in the manufacture of engines. Early 901 transmission cases were made of magnesium. 964 valve covers were made of magnesium. And while the archetypal wheel for a classic 911 is the Fuchs, there isn't a car that doesn't look good on mini-light magnesium alloy wheels. As an aside, if you've ever used the term mag wheel, mag is an abbreviation of magnesium, because many early alloy wheels were made using alloys of magnesium. One of the drawbacks of using magnesium in many applications is that it is porous. If you have an early 901 with a porous magnesium gearbox and oil decides it would rather be on the outside, well, sir, they all do that. If you have a 964 with porous valve covers, the answer is aftermarket billet aluminium valve covers. We buy them from a manufacturer in the US as billet aluminum valve covers. We use a complex linguistic procedure to convert them into aluminium valve covers by carefully inserting an I into each one. Another drawback of using magnesium is that it grows. When it corrodes, the resulting corroded magnesium is larger than the uncorroded metal. This is possibly made worse by galvanic effects of being in close contact with other metals. It means that engine fans and their housings on air-cooled cars, bell housings, and, as seen here, 968 timing covers end up needing to be replaced. If you're unsure if something is made of magnesium, it's pretty easy to tell. Here is one way to test. Magnesium burns with a bright white light. It also burns so hot that water can't be used to extinguish it. This is another drawback of using magnesium in automotive applications. The heat of a magnesium fire can reduce water, releasing hydrogen gas, which adds to the fire. We can test that, but we won't. More importantly, once you have established that a piece of metal is magnesium by observing that intense bright white light, it has become magnesium oxide. Fortunately, there is another way. Magnesium belongs to a group of elements called alkaline earth metals. Being alkaline, magnesium reacts with acids. So, add some acid to something you think is magnesium, and watch what happens next. I've used vinegar here to test a piece of magnesium. What you're looking for is fizzing. Vinegar will fizz in reaction with magnesium, but not with aluminium. Rinse with water when you have finished sciencing. Why would you need to test for magnesium? If you are ordering a gasket set for a 901 transmission, it matters what material the transmission case is made of because there are different gasket sets for different metals. Or maybe you just like setting things on fire. Thank you very much for watching. The space frame chassis of at least one of bollocks.